What's up everyone, how are we? I'm back in Sydney, which is so good. I was rather over Melbourne, I must say. So I'm here tonight, I'm feeling 10 times better. Last night, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was feeling like absolutely crap in the Q&A. I was like, it's hit me hard. So when I went down into Melb's, I got really, I don't know, for whatever reason, just got crook as a dog. It was the absolute pits. My brain function's been all over the place, hectic brain fog, all that shit, and just been feeling like just terrible, straight up terrible. I went keto, and going keto actually helped it. And we're going to touch on that. I got a question about keto earlier this week, so we're going to go over keto and touch on that, because there are a lot of muppets out there saying stuff like "fuck keto," you don't need to do keto diet's the worst, all that crap. So yeah, g'day Craig, how are you, brother? Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I was using keto well, and it was working well for me, helped me heal, and all that. So yeah, we'll go over keto a little bit. But anyway, now I'm back in Sydney. I literally got straight home, straight onto my balcony. Fuck, I felt so much better. I was out in the sun. One thing that, guys, I cannot stress to you enough is that sun is massively crucial. Like massively crucial. If you're not getting enough sun, you're not gonna get lean. You're not gonna feel as good as what you should. All that stuff. But anyway, now that we've already got 20 people on in like 2 minutes, which is epic because I feel popular. I'm going to go straight into hitting this epic topic, which is abdominal fat loss. A lot of people, literally, this is the biggest question I get all the time. It is, why can't I lose fat from my lower abs? And there are several reasons for it. 3 big ones. Those of you who came over from Insta or my earlier Facebook posts, you'll know these. The 3 big ones that really affect us and really stump lower abdominal fat loss is the fact that, number 1, you're just not lean enough. You need to get leaner for it to happen. Number 2 is digestion and digestion related, as with everything, because it all comes back to the digestive system in the end of the day. And number 3 is stress and your levels of stress. You're overstressing yourself, all that sort of thing, like with dieting, training, and all that jazz, right? If you can nail all 3 of these things that we're going to cover tonight, you can have very, very easy fat loss. Everyone who comes and trains with me will most of the time they'll experience more rapid fat loss, particularly from the midsection, than what they ever have before. The reason why, because in the first 4 weeks, I get them onto a hectic gut protocol, which literally fixes most of their digestive issues. And then after then, they're set in stone, and all they've got to do is follow this very simple protocol that I got. And we just edit it as they need it depending on their results. So yeah, so let's crack on into it, guys. Also, as always, if you do have any questions, put them in below and ask away. Because I'm happy to sit around here with you and have a chat, sip my tea, drink my water for as long as you guys need. And also too, if you do miss this, or you have to bail halfway through, I'm going to be uploading all these to my YouTube channel. All right? If you need the link to that, let me know and I'll put it up. So yeah. There you go, there's Monty saying he doesn't have the problem with the lower abdominal fat being stubborn anymore. And he's absolutely killing it. So yeah, without further ado, let's go on into this and let's go balls deep, let's go hard at it. So lower abdominal fat, a lot of people can't lose the fat from their lower abs simply because they're not lean enough. It is one of the places where you are going to lose fat last, just because a lot of the time, well, I think it's because we are genetically predisposed to holding more fat around here. Men generally hold more fat around the lower abs and the hips. Women between the hips, the thighs, and obviously the breasts. So if you're just not lean enough, your abs aren't going to show. However, if you are lean and you're somebody you're dieting smart, you're training well and all that, and you're losing fat from everywhere else, like your arms are shredded, your chest is shredded, your back's shredded, but it's just this little tie here, then you've got an issue. And that's why you need the next 2 things. So the first thing, obviously, is your gut, all right? If your gut isn't, if your gut isn't on point and it's unhappy, then you're going to be unhappy. You're just not going to get good enough progress. It's just not going to happen. So when you have a bad digestive system, you will notice immediately, literally within 1 week, actually, you know what, within 1 day, if you have a bad cheat meal, you go out, you smash some, you go out and smash some, I don't know, what do you have? Some dairy, some ice cream. If you go out and smash a shitload of ice cream, And you'll notice that the next day you woke up puffy and watery and you look like you've gained like 5 kilos overnight. In fact, some people do gain 5 kilos overnight. Then that's your gut. You know straight away that your gut's messing you. So you can literally see it within one day, and then bang, your whole physique absolutely changes. Huge. It's absolutely huge. I know for me, if I go out and smash a tub of ice cream, the next day I'm going to look like shit. That's why you probably won't see me on Instagram after I've posted, because there's no way in hell I'm going to look good enough at all. Because what this does is that when you have an inflamed digestive system, two things happen. Number one, you get fat gain. Right? Whenever your gut is bad, you just hold more fat around your midsection and your hips. You always do. I don't think there's any science on this whatsoever, but you always do. I've trained literally 1,300 people so far, and I'll see every single one of these guys. If they have an upset gut, they're not going to get optimal results of fat loss through the midsection. Combine this with number two, which is that when you inflame your gut and your midsection, you get increased water there. So the more unhappy your gut is, the more inflamed it is, the more water and edema and fluid rushes into the area in order to heal it. Let's remember that when you have an inflamed area, it always swells, all right? So there's always increased fluid there. Look at your ankle. If you sprain your ankle, it swells immediately. Bang, as soon as you injure it, it's there. Your gut's the same. It works exactly the same way, because what it wants to do is it wants to immobilize the area, it wants to fix it, it wants to stop it from getting harmed, and that's what the water is. The water is there to protect you. It's not there to harm you. Your body doesn't give a shit how you look. Your body is merely concerned with survival and making sure that it heals properly. It doesn't care how good you look on Instagram, or whether you need to filter the fuck out of your photos for the next week because you've eaten some bad food. All it cares about is that you're healing and that you're getting better, alright? So as long as your gut's bad, you're going to stack a whole heap of water on there. You're going to stack an absolute heap, alright? And it's not going to be fun. Now, Joey's just asked, is it the same for lower back, water and fat? Yes, exactly the same, my man. Exactly the same. That one can be a little bit more stubborn, but what I see generally is that if you have got the spare tire, so you got the lower abdominal fat and then the stuff on your lower back and your hips, the first stuff to go when you fix your gut is your lower abdominal fat. Then the second and third bits to go start at your hips and then works its way around to the lower back. The interesting thing about the lower back is that people who get more back pain tend to have higher levels of fluid around the back. Well, that's what I've noticed anyway in my experience. Once again, there's no science there. I can't quote you a research paper, but I can quote you experience that you know that's the case. All right. So what you need to do in order to fix this is to, number one, you need to fix your stomach acid production. Most people have got really piss poor levels of stomach acid, like really piss poor levels of stomach acid. So those of you who get reflux, you've got low stomach acid, not high stomach acid. High stomach acid isn't a thing. It doesn't exist. I don't care what your doctor says. It's wrong and it's outdated, and we've got research now to show that. The reason why I can say that with absolute confidence is that when you have low levels of stomach acid, what happens is your food isn't digested and broken down well. And what happens is it goes from the stomach into the small intestine, and because it's too big and it's not broken down well and the digestive process isn't working properly, it gets blocked in your small intestine, and that's what then causes gas to rise up and pushes the reflux and the acid out of your stomach back into your throat. Okay? So it's never high stomach acid. You never, ever have high stomach acid. I don't care which Muppet ever tells you that. They're wrong. Straight up. Wrong. It's always low stomach acid, which is the problem. So if you fix your stomach acid production, you'll immediately eliminate all these issues. So all these digestive issues, all this bloating, all this stuff like that, including the water and the fat gain around your midsection, it will go. It will start to dissipate. What you need to do for that is you either need to start supplementing with a bit of apple cider vinegar or betaine HCl, something like that. And then bang, there you go. You'll notice that within a couple of weeks, you'll actually start dramatically improving, okay? On top of this too, you need to take control of your gastric movements and your neurotransmitters, because if your stomach isn't moving and your intestines aren't moving, then you're going to have bung neurotransmitters. When you've got bung neurotransmitters, it's also going to affect your stomach, okay? So you need to look after those and make sure that they're working well. What we need to do in this is we need to get you away from grazing. We need to get you away from, you know, just snacking like 30 times a day and just have 3 to 5 or even 2 to 5 structured meals throughout the day, all right? And reduce your stress levels, because remember, the more stressed you are, the more paralyzed your gut and your digestive system are going to be, and the more it's going to backfire on this, all right? When your gut's not moving, it gets clogged up, bacteria go in places where they shouldn't go, they damage the intestinal lining very quickly, it doesn't take long for this to happen, and then bang, you get that inflammation, you get the water rushing in, all right, which we just talked about at the start of this video, and then you gain water in the area, you gain fat, and your hormones go all over the shop. Not fun at all, okay? That's exactly how it works. The next thing on top of this, well, you could even do this as a separate point. So the third thing after digestive health, which also works into digestive health because it's all interrelated, is stress. If you are overstressing yourself and you haven't got a balance of the 5 stresses, which I always talk about, then you're not gonna have a good time, okay? If you're excessively stressed, what happens is the wrong hormones go through the roof and the right ones go down through the floor. Puts you in the worst position. When you have too much stress, the immediate instinct is to bang, switch over into survival mode. And when you're in survival and fight or flight or starvation mode, no matter whatever you want to call it, you actually end up holding more fat, right? You end up holding more fat and holding less muscle, okay? The 5 stresses that I always talk about are your food stress or your digestive stress, your physical stress, so like your training, your cardio, your exercise, all that sort of stuff, your emotional stress, so your relationships with the people around you, your psychological stress, which is like your perception of people around you, your perception of stress, be it in business, be it from work, be it from study, any sort of perception of stress that's affecting you, which you think might hurt you, and also your sleep or relaxation stress, so if you're not getting enough sleep, all right? You need to make sure, obviously, that your digestive stress is at an all-time low. You need to keep that low if you want to look your best, right? For your physical stress, you need to balance that out. If you have massive amounts of perceived stress outside you, like you're working your ass off, you're not sleeping, you're not getting along with the missus or your hubby or whatever, you need to balance your physical stress. You need to balance your training out with all that. Because if you put your training through the roof, and you put all your other stresses through the roof as well, your body shits itself very, very quickly. It does not take long to do that. I've done it. When I gave myself IBS, which is completely my fault and nobody else's fault, it didn't just happen to me, it was my fault. I made it happen. What I was doing when I caused this to happen was I was exercising a shitload. I prepped for the best part of 18 months to 2 years straight, doing bodybuilding shows. I did 6 straight bodybuilding shows. Stupid. Who does that? Nobody does that. 6 straight bodybuilding shows. In between each show, I'd cut and then bulk, and then cut and then bulk. Adding to this, I also graduated uni at the same time, so I finished off my degree in medical science, finished it off, and was working my ass off on it. On top of this too, I was running my business, so I just started up my business. It was growing massively. I was working huge hours. And on top of this too, I wasn't sleeping enough. I was trying to sleep as little as what I could in order to look better, feel better, be better, all that stuff. And then on top of this too, my perception of stress, I was very jumpy all the time. All the time I was constantly jumpy, borderline anxiety, depression type stuff. It wasn't a good time, and it was all my fault, all right? Because I was not managing my stress and I wasn't balancing it all out. Now for you guys out there who are, your executive assistants, your lawyers, engineers, doctors, whatever, business people, you will all know this feeling because you will all be going through this at some stage, one time or another. If you don't balance it, it's going to come and smack you over the back of the head, and you're going to go through something like I did, something massive. It's going to completely ruin your gut. So you need to make sure that your stress is really, really balanced, and you need to make sure that you are managing your stress as best you can. All right? So they are the 3 main things that are going to be inhibiting you from losing fat. Number 1, just the fact that you're not lean enough. All right? Number 2, that your digestive health isn't great and it needs to be a lot better. And number 3 is that your stress is not in balance. All right? Your stress and the 5 main stresses, you're not balancing them well, and they're not under control. You need to manage them. All right? If you can look after all 3 of these, you will be fine. All right? You will be fine. You just need to eat smart, look after your gut, and then make sure that you get adequate sleep and you have balance within your life. All right? Now, Catherine's just asked, is there a test for stomach acid? Yes, there is, but they're all pretty inaccurate from my experience anyway. The biggest test for low stomach acid is do you get any digestive symptoms? So if you have any issues with your digestion, then bang. The chances are you're going to have low stomach acid. The reason being because it seems that when you get more stressed, your stress levels go up. The first thing to go is your stomach. Your stomach gets really, really super tight. And when your stomach gets really, really super tight, you have it seems to cause a decrease in hydrochloric acid production, which in turn causes a massive increase and a massive bump in inflammation, and it allows histamine levels to massively rise. And when you have elevated histamine levels, that plays havoc with your gut, and that sends you into fight or flight, and you have a really, really bad time. Andy's just asked, do I use or recommend adaptogens to reduce stress? Yeah, man, massive fan of adaptogens and nootropics. More so the nootropics, I guess you call them adaptogens too, if you like. Guys, for those of you who don't know, an adaptogen is like a herb or a supplement which allows you to adapt to stress and mitigates your reactions to like, stressful events. All right. Actually, the most common adaptogen is rhodiola rosea. Big fan of that. Used in the right purposes. The thing with rhodiola is that if you are going through a stressful period and you're not sleeping well enough, rhodiola is going to make you feel like shit. Okay? Because what it does is when you're very, very stressed, your cortisol levels are going up and your adrenaline levels are going up, which allows you to function. But if you're literally relying on that cortisol and adrenaline in order to function to get you through work, which sometimes we all have to do it, it's going to put you on the floor immediately. I can tell you right now, when I was stressed, I used to hate rhodiola because it would stop me from working. So you need to be really careful on that. On top of that too, just your standard 5-HTP and GABA are fantastic. Just for general advice, that's what I'd advise anyone. If you're on antidepressants, SSRIs, MAO inhibitors, all that sort of stuff, you've got to be really careful. You've got to go talk with your doctor before you do any of this. Because in the end of the day, the neurotransmitters are the things which regulate and control your stress. If we look at what anxiety is, anxiety and depression, it's actually an adaptation. Anxiety is something that was designed and programmed into us. Back in the day, we humans who were more prone to anxiety in the event of stressful situations were more likely to survive. That's why we get it, and that's why it's still so prevalent now, because it's actually something that's ingrained into us. And when we perceive stress, our GABA levels, the inhibitory neurotransmitter, the GABA, the one that shuts us down, allows us to sleep, that goes through the floor and allows us to be more awake and alert and functioning at a high level, which is why you have the increased cortisol and the increased adrenaline, so that we can actually function, so we don't die. So when that fucking lion's chasing us, we're not ready for a snooze. Like, oh Mal, I don't want to go, bro. You want to be awake and you want to go fight the lion or run away and flee from it. So it's actually a very natural thing to have that, and it's completely ingrained into us. So if we do stress, we need to actually supplement in order to take us out of that, because now, well, obviously nobody's after us. We don't have a lion. We don't have a lion after us, and yes, Mal will let you sleep when you want to sleep. All right. Now Mo has just asked, my upper abs are visible but struggling with lower, eating clean and sleeping good. Also, any tips, bro? We just covered that, so have a look at the video. Peter's just asked, what's the best ways to look after your gut? Sups, sleep, etc. Mate, all the above. You need to eat smart. You need to, actually, you know what, the biggest thing to look after your gut is the 5 stresses. You need to sleep. You need to make sure that your perception of stress and things around you are not too bad, and you're managing all your stress. Look at your emotional stress. You've got to manage your relationships. Get rid of bad ones. Keep lots of good ones in there, and spend more time with your friends. Actually, spending more time and being more social gives you a massive, massive bump of dopamine. So being in part of communities, talking with others, even if it's just over Facebook or face-to-face, doesn't matter. Gives you a bump in dopamine and keeps you happier. It also keeps your gut moving a lot better. Physical stress, you need to balance your training, so you need to have enough training but not too much, and then make sure that you're not eating any stupid foods. Pretty much, for your gut to be healthy, the main thing you need to do for most people is just not eat like a dickhead. Just be smart. And just eat stuff that's not bloating you, not causing constipation, gas, diarrhea. It's really not that hard. However, if you do have an existing gut issue, it's a bitch and it's not that simple. So if you need a hand, comment below or get in touch with us and we'll help you out. Now, Blake's just asked about Court RX. Court RX is a supplement used by a lot of people in order to allow adaptation to stress and to bring your perception of stress down. Yes, it's a good supplement, but I still don't think that it can compare to other things which I've used. I've used CordarX before. Yeah, it was alright, but by far, I think that the ingredients in there aren't at a high enough dose. Well, for me at the time, they weren't. For general maintenance, yes, I'd say it's fantastic. ATP Sciences is a great company. I've got no affiliation with them whatsoever. I just think that they make some fantastic products. Now, Reese Moyles just asked, does apple cider vinegar help fix your stomach acid? Yes, it does, mate. That's one of the things. That's the best thing. It not only helps, it not only gives you stomach acid immediately, it also helps the production of it. So it's like a supplement of stomach acid, giving you free stuff, but it also makes your stomach make more of it at the same time. Absolutely fantastic. On top of this too, it's also a prebiotic because it's fermented. So I'd highly recommend apple cider vinegar. The only problem with apple cider vinegar is you should have it with water, because if you do just take the straight vinegar, it can rot your teeth and have a bit of a bad effect on your teeth. When you pour any acidic substance into your body, it needs to be neutralized. So when you put it into your mouth and then your teeth are there, it just draws the calcium away from your teeth, or bicarbonate, one of the two, whatever it is. It dissolves your teeth in order to neutralize the acid so that the body's happy. James just asks, beans in your diet, yay or nay? So green beans, yes, they're great in the diet. They're absolutely fantastic. As far as like lentils and like red beans, black beans, kidney beans, those sorts of things, nah, no good at all. I don't know a single person that can eat those things and have good gut health afterwards. Right? Literally bloats everyone, gives everyone gas, gives everyone stomach irritation. If you don't get that, yeah, sure, they're fine, but I'm yet to meet somebody who doesn't react to that. And I've met some blokes with some iron stomachs. Rightio, Blake, go whinge about your stress elsewhere, mate. I'm just kidding. Yeah, somebody asked also about Cambogia Garcinia, or Garcinia Cambogia. Yeah, the thing with that is, well, the question about that was, how does it affect fat loss? Is it good for fat loss? Is it going to help you lose more fat? The answer is no. Literally outside of clenbuterol, which actually probably not even clenbuterol, outside of T3 and DNP, the two big illegal bad fat burners, nothing is going to make you lose fat without actually dieting. Okay, so if you're not dieting, then it's not going to work. People think they can just pop these pills, pop these herbs and whatnot, and expect to lose fat immediately. People want to rub shit into their belly, into their stomach, and say, oh, it's going to make me lose fat. People want to wear waist trainers. Don't even get me fucking started waist trainers. In fact, I'll go over them in a sec. And they expect that the waist trainer to actually make them lose fat and look leaner. It doesn't happen. In the end of the day, the only thing that you can do to lose fat is to diet smart, fix your gut, and exercise smart. If you do that, then you're fine. Otherwise, you're wasting your money. You're lining the pockets of some fraudulent snake oil salesman, and you're not going to get any benefit whatsoever. It's not worth it. It's not worth trying to take a shortcut. For stuff like that, if you are in a caloric deficit, if you are exercising smart, if you are doing all the right things, then yes, taking supplements like the Garcinia, that is going to help. But in the end of the day, it's not really going to work whatsoever. Right? It's really not going to give you any benefit whatsoever. If you do want to optimize your fat loss, if you do want to speed up your rate of fat loss and your healing process, all that stuff, Berberene's going to be your best friend. Berberene's absolutely fantastic. It activates the catabolic pathway called AMPK. What that does is it actually assists the breakdown in fat, so it shifts you over from muscle building mode to fat loss mode, and it also assists with healing of the body, reducing inflammation, and then optimizing the gut microbiome. That's going to be your biggest friend out of anything. That's the biggest one by far. But at the same time, if you eat like a dickhead, then you're not going to lose any fat. It's just fact. That's all you can do. You can't be silly. I had a client once who literally spent, before he was working with me, reckons he spent thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on all this shit. Tried them all. It was like, what's it? Garcinia, Cambogia, I can't even remember all the stuff that you used to try. But all this, stuff like Synephrine, what else was it? Like DMAA, all that stuff, everything like that. Bought everything, absolutely everything you can imagine under the sun. Wondered why I wasn't getting fat and why I wasn't getting lean, why I wasn't burning fat. and it was literally because his diet was shit. You can't expect to take supplements and, you know, use them to outweigh a bad diet or bad training. It's just not going to happen. All right. Now, another bloke's asked, if I'm in a calorie surplus, will I still be able to burn fat if I fast and take L-carnitine before a workout? Not likely. See, with the calorie surplus, what science tells us, and I use it very skeptically, what science tells us is that if you're in a calorie surplus, you're not going to burn fat. Now, look, right over here, I can tell you right now, I've been eating 5,500 calories before in a bulk and still had striated quads, and still had abs, still had veins running up everywhere. So I can tell you right now that you can get leaner in a calorie surplus because I've done it. I've done it without the use of any ergogenic aids or any bullshit like that. I've done it. It's as simple as that. You can do it and it will happen. You can grow and lose fat at the same time. I've done it. My clients have done it. I mean, my boy Derek just recently has lost, I can't remember how many inches off his waist, but he's increased his chest measurements and he's increased his, chest measurements, biceps, everything. He's absolutely killing it, that bloke. You can gain fat and lose muscle at the same time because I fucking see it. Like, I don't care what study it is. It's right in front of me with my clients. I've got data on it, like raw data. But I don't. If you're asking if fasting is going to help with fat loss, fasting isn't really going to help with fat loss. In fact, I don't see fasting as, in general, for general people, as the optimal way to lose fat. If you fast and you already have an existing health condition, or you're overly inflamed, or you're not in a good way, then yes, it's going to help you lose fat. Because once again, if we go back, if we look at your body, if your body's unhappy, it's inflamed and it's damaged, right? Then what fasting is going to do is it's going to allow that to heal. And so that's fantastic. And when you heal the inflammation and the damage, all the fat gain, all the water gain associated with that inflammation and damage is going to dissipate. And it's going to go completely away. One of my boys, Michael's lost like 7 kilos in like 6 weeks, just as we've been fixing him up and relieving him of an autoimmune disease called lupus. And he's had massive results from fasting without even having to worry too much about calories. In fact, he's eating more than he can put in. So yeah, fasting is going to help if it gives you health relief. But at the same time, if you're just eating, if you're generally healthy and you're just eating in a shorter window, it's not going to make you burn more fat. It's not going to make you gain more muscle. It really doesn't matter at all. You're better off actually eating over 3 to 5 meals. It's where I see my guys in general get the best results. As far as taking L-carnitine before a workout, it's not going to do shit, man. If you eat meat and you've already got enough carnitine in you, you're going to be fine, alright? You're going to be absolutely fine. You will not have any issues whatsoever with carnitine deficiency. The only time L-carnitine assists with fat burning is when your carnitine levels are low. Right, that's the only time. So I only recommend L-carnitine for brain function, which is when you use acetyl L-carnitine because it boosts your levels of choline. And when you boost your levels of choline, your brain function goes much, much faster. Now, Jamie Falconer's just asked here, I have a mate with small calves. How do I let him know? You don't let him know, mate. Coming from a fellow small carver, just don't tell us. We already know. If you've got pigeon calves, you know it, you feel it, and it hurts every single day. So don't tell him. Laura's just asked, waist trainers. Waist trainers. Let's get me started on them. Alright. So, people think that by wearing a fucking restrictive corset that they're going to be able to change the shape of their waist and lose more fat and look leaner. The only thing this does is it really fucks with your ribs, it fucks with your posture, it weakens your abdominal muscles, so when you squat you're likely to put your back out. It impacts your organs and it's got constant touch on them, which isn't nice for them at all, and it really, really screws with your body. It doesn't make your waist shrink. Why? Because your waist is your pelvis. It's bone. It's solid. It's really hard. I don't know the last time that you managed to squish your bone, but I sure as shit can't squish my bone. You can't move it at all. It's hard. It's rock solid. It's there. Wearing a waist trainer isn't going to change that at all. You just need to get leaner. Don't wear a waist trainer. It's not good for you whatsoever. Throws you completely out of whack. There's a whole heap of bullshit about it. I mean, in bodybuilding, there are a whole heap of men's physique athletes who wear them. And it's like, what are you doing? It literally does nothing for you, and it actually hinders you. It actually makes your digestive system unhappy, right? Things that do work, however, are like those thermo belts that you wrap around, which are kind of loose. They actually assist blood flow to the region, and in my opinion, and from what I've seen working with my athletes, my comp prep guys, that when you have increased blood flow to a region, you actually have increased fat loss. The reason being because the fat can actually be mobilized much, much better. So yeah, wearing waist warmers, those sorts of things, they're actually going to be quite good for isolated fat loss around the midsection. Okay, Andrew, brother, we forgot to have a chat today. I need to get on to you about that. We'll book another time in. But Andrew just asked, what do you recommend for gut health post extended antibiotic use or post stomach ulcers? Ugh, not fun, that one, mate. So the number one thing that you need to do is you need to work on healing the stomach lining. So you need to see, is your gut moving properly, all right? Are you having good bowel movements? Is it regular? Does it hurt? Do you get stabbing pains in your stomach at all? How's your back? Is your back tight in certain areas, like on the right side? Do you shift over to the left when you're squatting? All that sort of stuff. You need to look at it and see whether your gut's moving first. Numero uno, okay? The next thing after that is you need to repopulate your gut microbiome. So you need to make sure that you're, number one, not eating like a dickhead, so try and forego cheat meals for the time being. As far as healing after the stomach ulcers, man, you just need to reduce that inflammation in there. So if you keep it moving, keep your gut moving, it's gonna heal itself. You can take stuff like collagen and gelatin, but it's not really going to work too well. I don't see it having a huge amount of effect. People rave over bone broth. I've used bone broth before. Didn't do shit for me. Really didn't help at all. If anything, actually, the protocol I was on sent me backwards, unfortunately. So yeah, I wouldn't go worry too much about gelatin or collagen or anything like that. Probably glucosamine with chondroitin sulfate though, that might help, that can help, and that's actually shown and studied to actually to help with stomach tissue. Next one. Ali's just said, what about Clen for fat loss? Fuck no. Don't use Clen. Clen is shit. It's not gonna be good. I actually hardly know anybody who has ever succeeded, really well succeeded with Clen. The thing that people do on Clen, right, is they're fat. So you start off out of shape. Then you go get this Clen, all right? You pop your tablet or you take your gel or whatever it is, and then you start dieting, all right? So pretty much what you've done is you've just changed your lifestyle habit and then popped in a potentially life-threatening supplement which causes you to stick to your diet. If you need to take Clen to stick to your diet, you probably need to have a good hard look in the mirror. I would not recommend Clen at all. All right, it's not going to be do any good for you at all. What Clen does is it actually constricts all of your digestive muscles. It takes blood flow away from your digestive system. So it screws with your gut health. Most people are saying when they're on Clen, they feel really tight in their midsection and they'll have less frequent bowel movements, then they'll start getting anxiety and anything like that. Anything that brings on anxiety is bad. It's not helping you, because remember, what's happening when you got anxiety? Stress. What's happening when you got stress? Less blood flow to your digestive system, alright? So no, don't use Clen, bro. Don't use Clen. Just do it the smart way. You don't need to use Clen. The other thing about Clen is, mate, is it really worth it? Really? Is it really worth it? There's a good reason why a lot of bodybuilders drop dead at around 50 from heart attacks. And the thing is, there's no correlation between steroid use and them actually dropping dead at 50. It's clenbuterol use. Go figure. I don't know about you guys, but I want to live till I'm 150, and you know what? I want to be running marathons. I want to be, I want to be jumping up and down, feeling absolutely fantastic, playing with my great grandchildren, for the rest of my life until I die a happy death, if I ever die, because I'd rather be immortal, to be perfectly honest. I don't know why you'd want to risk it with Clen. All right, it's not going to do you any benefit. It's not worth it, and it is going to do you harm. Okay. Mohit, what's your ideal diet look like while bulking up and maintaining less than 10% body fat? What are the key food items? Mate, the food items depend on every person, okay? So really, from person to person, you just need to make sure that you're eating well for you and that you're not getting bloated, distended, gas, reflux, any of that sort of shit, okay? If you can avoid all that stuff, then you're going to be fine. So there's no magic food. I don't say chicken and broccoli. If you're having chicken, broccoli, and rice only for your diet, it's fucking retarded. Stop it. You don't need to do that. All right? No, heaps of people have done it. There's no benefit to it. In fact, there's a whole heap of downsides. You just need to have a varied diet. You need to enjoy your food. You just need to eat smart, man. That's it. It's really not that hard. As for maintaining like less than 10% at all times, you just need to have a diet which actually fits in with your training program, okay? So what I do for my guys to make sure that they bulk up and stay lean at the same time is I increase their calories dramatically, so I have their food volume fucking through the roof immediately, and then I have them on workouts which are suited to them, which they all respond really well to, and they don't get too fatigued, they're not throwing the CNS, they're getting gains constantly. So yeah, that's a bit of a general answer, but that's the best answer I can give you, bruh. If you want a hand with coaching or anything, you know where to find me, or more advice on it, you know where to find me, bruh. Now, Laura, yes, you'd better stop using that waist trainer. Guys, if you're using a waist trainer, stop it. Male or female, don't bother. Alright? Robbie, what's the best foods to make myself bigger? More food. All the foods. If you eat all the foods, then you're going to get bigger straight away. And spinach. Works for Popeye. So yeah, if you can do that, just eat more. You're going to be sweet. If you can eat as much food as you can while staying lean, you're just gonna grow, bro. You just got to make sure that you got a good protein diet in. You got to make sure that you've nailed your macronutrients. Yeah, if you can do that, you'll be sweet. On top of that too, get more sunlight, and that'll make you grow. Now, Kate Jenkins, assume gluten and dairy-free diet already. Hey, Kate, how are ya? What are the top 3 things? Example, subs you'd introduce into your diet to help the healing process of your gut, or is this too far varied? What's she saying? What am I reading here? What are the top 3 things? What are the top 3 SARPs I'd introduce? Okay, so generally, if you've already got a decent diet and you just want to improve it, make it even better, the top 3 things to introduce, like top 3 supplements to introduce, would be 5-HTP, assuming that you're not on antidepressants of any sort, betaine HCl, because you can never have enough hydrochloric acid, and then probably EAAs or GABA. Either EAAs or or something that's GABAergic, so anything to increase cortical GABA, all right? Anything like that, so something like Phenibut. The main thing with us in our lifestyles is that we have massively insufficient GABA and massively insufficient downtime. All right. Jade and Clay, do you use periodization in your training? If so, do you use DUP with power, hypertrophy, and strength training? Yeah, man. Look, I do use periodization in my training, but it really depends on how they go. Because some clients will respond well with alternating. Going from volume into intensity, back into volume. Some people will need 2 to 3 sessions of volume and then 1 of intensity. Some people will be only good with intensity training. So yeah, with DUP, nah, look, I don't actually like DUP at all. Maybe it's biased because I don't think Lane Norton's, the best coach going around, and his ideas from that I don't appreciate. Perhaps could be my bias, but I don't find DUP to be great. Really, with my periodization, man, it depends on your results, because you can't have a general periodization plan for everybody, right? So, guys, for those of you who aren't familiar with periodization, it's the process of planning your workouts and your training programs using different rep ranges and intensities in order to get maximal results. So yeah, man, look, the times between, it's a very complex question, dude, very complex question. I'm doing my best to answer it in a concise way, although I might be failing. But yeah, really, it depends from person to person. In the end of the day, the key things that I look for are motivation, fatigue, and results. Okay? So, if you're still motivated, if you're not fatigued and you're getting good results, then you need to keep going with that style of training. If you are not motivated and you're getting fatigued but you're still getting results, then bang, you need to change it up. If you're not getting results and you're too far gone, you need to switch it up completely, incorporate a deload, and focus on rest and recovery. Alright? Kate, I look forward to having you back, mate, and we'll get you sorted. Yeah, so sorry, Jaden, if you have if you need more clarification on that, just let me know. Now, Jaden Bateman has now asked, is gluten actually shit for everyone, or does it vary from person to person based on how they respond? There's no benefit to gluten. Zip. None. Nothing. Don't bother. No, there's no point in getting into the gluten. Like really, you can get fucking gluten-free donuts, you can get gluten-free pancakes, gluten-free pizza, anything. It does nothing for you. Remember, the interaction between the gliadins in the protein, the interaction between the gluten protein and zonulin, the stuff that holds our intestines together, it's universal. It always happens for everybody. All right, all the time. So if that's happening and you're getting inflamed and you're making your gut more porous, it's not going to help ever. All right. Some people have a more severe immune reaction to it than others. But mate, there's no point to it. Just don't bother. You know, it's not really worthwhile having ever. All right. I haven't seen anyone benefit from having gluten, but I've seen literally everyone benefit from not having gluten. Put it to you that way. Look, if you're attached to your gluten foods, then yeah, go for it. Keep eating your gluten. But if you want optimal results and you want to progress as fast as you can, which fuck literally everybody here wants to, then you know, dude, I know what I'd be doing. So I think just cut the gluten. You don't need it. It's not really even that fun, and it makes you feel like shit. Nikki, how are you, mate? One of my favourite clients right here. 2 questions. How long does bloating take to go down? Number 1, how long does bloating take to go down? That depends on what's causing the bloating. So if you're eating something which is always causing you to bloat, it's not going to go down. If your gut isn't loosening up and you're not sleeping well and you're still stressed, then it's not going to get it sorted. All right, it's just going to be shit. So it really depends on what you're doing to fix it. All right, if you're alleviating it well, then bloating will go down within like a day. If not, then it can take weeks. All right. What is a good method to help skin become tight during shredding? Intermittent fasting. Maybe we'll, have a hardcore go of that. A very, very hardcore go of that. So intermittent fasting, allegedly, who was I reading this off? I can't remember, but I was reading it just recently. The intermittent fasting is actually fantastic at actually getting rid of that stretched skin look. Okay, intermittent fasting with a combination of keto, all right, and a specific type of intermittent fasting, which you do for it, and that allegedly is fantastic for it. For any of you guys out there, if you do want to reduce that excess skin, give intermittent fasting go in a substantial calorie deficit in a medium calorie diet, and see how it goes. Joe, good question. Do you know anything about vacuum training? Yes, I do. So guys, vacuum does not refer to the stuff that wipes the floor, which I fucking hate and never do. Literally. Vacuum training refers to sucking in your stomach and pretty much breathing in and breathing everything up. I won't do it now, but I might post a video up about it later if you guys are keen. But what it does is it pretty much helps you have mind muscle control over stuff like your diaphragm, your intercostal muscles, and all the muscles that help you breathe in and breathe out. So vacuum training is fantastic, absolutely fantastic for you to do, because it does give you better control from there. It stops the diaphragm going into spasm as often, and it lets you know if you've got any misalignments throughout your body. So yes, vacuum training is great, mate. Do it if you can. You've got the time and the know-how. Now Joe's also asked, I feel stomach making weird noises when I drink water with lemon and apple cider vinegar after I wake up. Mate, the weird noises actually aren't a bad thing. So the weird noises in your stomach are actually the beginnings of the migrating motor complex. So when your stomach's growling, that's what it is. It's actually cleaning itself. It's cleaning itself. It starts from your stomach and it works its way all the way through your small intestine. Right? Not a bad thing at all, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. If you're drinking it and you're feeling crook as a dog and you just want to vomit, then yeah, that's not fun, and you need to sort that out, and we'll get you sorted, man. Amar, what's your recommended macro split on a cut? Bruh, I can't even answer that. It depends from person to person. As long as you've got decently high protein, in most people, decently high protein, you're going to be fine, all right? I always recommend having a higher level of fat too, minimum of 15% of your caloric intake coming from fat, like absolute minimum, but yeah. Or I normally try to get my guys up to around, 25% from fat. But it depends from person to person. If you're skinny, you need more carbs. If you're larger, a chunky monkey, then you're going to need less carbs and more fat. Really depends from person to person. Also depends on your neurotransmitters, like fuck man, if you're GABA deficient and serotonin deficient, then you need more carbs. So many factors in it, dude. So many. Gustavo, what's my take on going vegan? Well, mate, I haven't gone vegan, so I don't recommend it. There are no health benefits to it. There are ethical benefits. If it's about ethics, and you just don't like the idea of eating animals, that's fine. I would recommend you go on a farm though and see what it's actually like, because there's a reason why we hunt, why we kill those animals, because they wouldn't be alive without us, that's for sure. So I'm not an advocate for going vegan. Don't think there's really any benefit at all, but I do think there is a benefit for eating more vegetables in your diet. All right, there's no sense in saying, well, I'm not going to go vegan, so I'm not going to eat veggies, or I'm just going to eat shitloads of meat. There's definitely a benefit for eating a high proportion of veggies. A lot of my guys who are doing my advanced course, for men who kind of want to go through anti-aging type stuff, not age long, not age badly, prevent anxiety, depression, minimize the risk of cancer, heart disease, all that sort of thing, improve performance, fat loss. Got a big course for that. For all them, I actually advise going on a much higher veggie diet with lower protein, and it works. It works 10 times out of 10. So I wouldn't go vegan. I wouldn't. I'm not going vegan, so I'm not going to advertise it. Just don't do it, bro. That's my advice. Joey, what's the best subs for gut health? All right. This changes every week, I swear. So 5-HTP, a little bit of GABA, and then some berberine. They'd probably be my top 3. Chuck in some beta and HCl in there somewhere, if you will. They'd be the top 4. Jackie, can I please explain again why sitting in the sun makes you leaner? I've started making an effort since the last time you spoke about it. All right. Number 1, Jackie, do you already feel leaner and better? Yes, you do, because if you start sitting in the sun, you get more tanned, you look leaner immediately because you are tanned. Because remember, brown fat is always looks better than white fat. Number 2, you seem to lose a little bit of water, so it reduces that. Number 3, increases your serotonin and melatonin levels, so it actually improves your circadian rhythm, improves your sleep, improves your healing, reduces inflammation. All right. It also improves your digestive health, because when you have high levels of melatonin and serotonin, your gut works a whole heap better. And then this really weird out there bloke called Jack Kruse, who may or may not have the right idea. He says that you by spending more time in the sun, your mitochondria, which are like your little energy powerhouse type things, they make all the energy in your body. They respond a lot better, so you can actually burn more burn more carbs in there more efficiently. I don't know if that is true, but I know the first bits are. Everyone would benefit massively from sitting in the sun a whole heap more. It's immense. I sit in the sun every day. I work out on my balcony every single day in the sun from the hours of 12 through to 6:37 at night. And I just got sun. I'm out there sunbathing and working, running my programs, designing my courses. I think it's absolutely fantastic. My boy Joel, who a heap of you would have spoken to, Joel Donaldson, he raves about it and he looks absolutely fantastic. He's shredded as. Laura, how do you heal your gut from IBS? Bruh, massive question. Massive question. There are so many different ways for that. Number 1, actually this is the only answer I'm going to give. You need to fix the root cause. You got to find what it is. It's going to be a stress. You got to alleviate that stress, deal with that stress, and fix it. Now, Yvonne said, is it normal for teacrine or theacrine to make you feel sick? Yeah, it's pretty gross. So guys, one thing I recommend for all my clients is theacrine. The reason why? Because it has an effect like caffeine, just without all the negative sides, okay? So it actually makes your brain perk up a whole heap better. It reduces your adenosine levels. Adenosine makes you go to sleep, gives you brain fog, and it makes you function a whole heap better. It improves your training, improves your lifts too, so you can go for longer and harder in the gym. But yeah, it does taste like it tastes like rat shit. It's absolutely filth. So yeah, it can make you sick just because it tastes so bad. If you can push through it, push through. If not, put it into capsules and then take it that way. But I would 100% recommend it. Jaden, back. For hypertrophy training, is a slow controlled tempo important to elicit more muscle fibers of the targeted muscle group compared to a tempo that involves momentum? Number 1, tension is king. All right. I was talking with my mate McGregor down in Melbourne from the Unknown Strength just yesterday about this, and it really, it comes back to tension a lot of the time, but it also comes back to intensity. It's a mixture of tension on the muscle, so making sure you're actually contracting that muscle, the intensity at which you're lifting, and then the total tonnage within the workout that you're lifting. So I wouldn't say that the actual time under tension is king. It's those three variables you need to do. Just because you lift a weight or lower a weight really, really slowly and then contract it really slowly doesn't mean you're going to grow any faster. A lot of people say that for sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which is like pump-induced hypertrophy, that you need to lift it really, really slowly up and down and just keep constant tension on it and get more of a pump. But I'll tell you what, man, I grow most in the 1 to 6 rep range, around there. And yeah, man, I sure as shit, I'm lifting them quite quickly. I'm not really focusing on like a 5, 6, 7 second eccentric. In the end of the day though, you need to find out what works for you and you need to do a little bit of everything. So that's a really roundabout, contradictory answer. But man, the general advice is that you can't do it for everyone. This is why I write fucking training nutrition plans. Because I can't just give you all a generic answer which is going to work for everyone. It really needs to be tailored to you, okay? So I hope that helps, and I kind of hope that's confused you at the same time, because if it's confused you, then it's made you think in a different way, and you're going to go out and research it, and you're going to find out why. Joe, once again, meal timings are important, but your meal one is before 1 hour of training. How is it likely to affect you in the gym? So really, it depends on you, man. If you are in the gym, and you're feeling crook after your meal one, then it's not a good sign, right? If you're thinking about vomiting that meal up, then you shouldn't really be having it. Yeah, so man, once again, it comes back to individual variation. If you feel good on it, do it. If you don't feel good on it, don't do it. There is no benefit to fasted or non-fasted training. In fact, actually, I find that there's a slight mental benefit to doing fasted training, because I'm a lot more alert and peaking and feeling absolutely fantastic. Alright? So I hope that answers your question, bruh. Now, Moses asked again, Ronnie Coleman Resurrect, yay or nay? Ronnie Coleman Resurrect's the shit. I've been taking it for years. They're bloody out of stock in Australia and won't have any for a while, which is pissing me off. Not happy about that. But yeah, no, Ronnie Coleman Resurrect's absolutely, it's the shit. It's absolutely amazing. I don't think I've heard anyone who can conclusively say that it hasn't helped them. Now, Scotty said, with more sun, I found my lifts were better too. On your Scotty, you needed some more sun because you're pale as bruh. But you'll be a good looking bloke now. What else we got? How are you, Pat? Graphy. Is berberine best to take with food or without? And could you take chromium picolinate and berberine together pre-workout? Yeah, so berberine, look, it doesn't really matter if you take it with or without food. I like to take it with my carbs because it actually modulates, your blood sugar levels and makes them a lot better. So yeah, look, it really doesn't matter, man, as long as you get it in. In the end of the day, the berberine is there because it's number one, going to optimize your digestive system. Number two, it will ameliorate optimize your blood sugar levels. And it'll also have a healing anti-inflammatory effect on your body. Taking chromium and berberine together pre-workout, I wouldn't take it pre-workout, man. In fact, generally, for you, Graphy, for somebody who I know is just trying to get big as fuck and big as fuck and nice and lean and get into that men's physique shape, I probably wouldn't. But yeah, look, mate, you can take it pre-workout if you want. But I probably wouldn't, man. Save it for like before bed or something like that. Before bed's probably best for them. With the chromium, it is good to take it just with your carbs because chromium does also assist with the blood sugar levels. Mel, how are you, mate? Can you take apple cider vinegar with a probiotic, like at the same time? Yeah, sure, why not? Take them whenever the fuck you want. Doesn't matter. There's going to be no harm at all with taking them together. The apple cider vinegar isn't going to burn the probiotic or stop it from being functional or anything like that. So I wouldn't worry. So yeah, no, you can take them at the same time for sure, man. Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't ruin the properties. The apple cider vinegar definitely doesn't ruin the properties of the probiotic. In fact, because it's like a slight prebiotic at the same time, it might actually help. It might help assimilate it. It really doesn't matter though. Those probiotic things, they're generally enteric coated, so they actually pass through your small intestine and your stomach quite easily, and then are then broken down by the large intestine, I think anyway. And so that makes them less likely to be degraded by stomach acid or other digestive enzymes or whatnot which are occurring in your gut. All right. So yeah, so that's all the questions we got through. Fucking nailed it. Yeah, guys. So if you've got any more around, I'll stick around for another couple of minutes because there's another question on keto which you've got to go through. Big one. So if you want me to cover anything more, just comment them below and I'll hit them up after this bad boy now. So the keto diet. All right. This is one I get asked about all the time, and it's like, James, do you like the keto diet? I mean, I fucking love the keto diet. I can go from not ketosis into complete ketosis within a day. So I drop in and out. And that's an idea which has been coined by some doctor as metabolic flexibility. So yes, I do like the keto diet because it actually helps to promote metabolic flexibility, meaning that you can run on either carbs and glucose, which most of the population does, or you can run on fat very efficiently. The benefit of this is that you stay very lean. Anyone who can do this quite easily is lean and stays very lean. They just don't struggle to get from a high carb diet into a keto diet. All right? So yes, keto is absolutely fantastic. Now, if you're looking to gain muscle, I don't see keto as being the best way forwards for you. I just don't, because, well, I only speak from results and from what I've seen. Research suggests that keto dieting is actually fantastic for putting muscle on it, but I don't see the same results in the trenches. I will rarely, very rarely, only in certain circumstances, put a client of mine onto a keto diet if they're looking to get bigger. Right? Very, very rarely. That's because I just see that carbs are just far better for making you grow. However, if you want to lose fat and you're having digestive issues or inflammatory issues or anything like that, keto's your best mate. At the same time, keto isn't bad, all right? Keto isn't evil. People are all about, oh, fuck keto, it's a waste of time, you don't need to do it. Well, it's true, you don't need to do keto, but if you're not getting results, keto's where you go to. That's the big boy, and that's always going to help you out. With keto, you'll increase your brain function, you'll increase your rate of healing, you reduce your likelihood of cancer, inflammatory related disease and illness, and all that sort of stuff. It's an absolutely fantastic tool, and at the same time you get leaner on it. So I find that you can actually eat more calories on keto and get leaner than what you would if you were to eat carbs. All right. So I don't know about you, but fuck, I sure as shit would take eating bacon and eggs and chocolate, loads of that every day, over having a few carbs. The only downside to keto is that you can you lose a bit of like that fullness in your muscles and you look a little bit stringy, like me. I was doing keto for the last few days because I was a bit crook. Obviously my gut was up and I was a little bit inflamed somewhere, so I was like bang straight onto the keto, and it helped me get fixed really quite quickly, much faster than what I was anticipating. But I did just flatten out a lot and not feel as good. So keto is absolutely fantastic. If someone's saying, oh, don't worry about keto, you don't need it, well, what harm's it going to do to you? All right, keto can be hard, but there are many ways to make it work. So yeah, big fan of keto. Now off that, Sean Ockwell, what's your thoughts on German volume training? Yeah, massive fan, but if used in the right situation, right? So if I go out to do German volume training, I'm hitting 12 to 15 reps for 10 sets, I die, all right? So after about 2 weeks, I die on that type of training. That's just because of my muscle fiber dominance and neurotransmitter profile, all right? However, if I get somebody else onto it, like Clint, who works with us at JCF, if he were to do German volume, he'd absolutely crush it, smash it out of the park, and he does it routinely. So it really depends on the person, depends on your results. Some people froth it, some people get gassed out, overtrained, and then feel like absolute shit on it. So it really depends on the person. As with all training, it's person specific. Now, Yvonne, what would you suggest my 14-year-old daughter take as her intra workout? Look, she can just get started on essential amino acids and electrolytes. There is no downside of taking amino acids and electrolytes because, well, you literally eat it anyway. Amino acids are just the building blocks of protein. So yeah, she can take that. Exactly what I have for you, Yvonne. For Barry. Exactly what I have for Barry, because there's no harm in it whatsoever. So she'll be fine on that. Yeah, with kids and weightlifting and all that sort of stuff, there's a lot of scare tactics and shit like that, which go out and say, oh, they stunt my growth, your kids aren't going to be tall. But I'll tell you what, I started lifting when I was like 13, guys. Like I was literally 13 years old. I went to boarding school and I was like a higher level footy player there, and so the big kids in the years above me, 3-4 years above me, the legends, made me go to the gym. So they dragged me out of bed at 5 a.m. as a 13-year-old. You know how hard that is, and made me go to the gym. And since then, I didn't stop. I started training when I was 13, and I'm still training right now. Now I'm 6 foot 1, 184 centimeters. My brother, who doesn't even lift, David, how are you if you're watching? Doesn't lift at all. He's marginally taller than me. And that's just the lack of genetic variation. My dad's 6'6", so maybe I haven't lived up to that, but then neither has my brother. So yeah, there's no real harm in doing weights around your workouts. On top of that, doing weights when you're a younger kid. On top of that too, around your workouts using peri-workout nutrition, there's no bad effects on kids, right? In the end of the day, they're still human. Like, just because they're slightly younger humans doesn't mean they're not going to be able to tolerate like BCAAs, EAAs, whey protein, stuff like that. It's not going to kill them. It's not going to ruin the kidneys. There's no science or evidence to suggest that. So they're fine. She'll be fine. Or any little kid will be fine on doing that shit. I first started taking whey protein and BCAAs when I was 14 or 15. All right. So I still remember my first tub of protein, Musashi protein. I don't know if they're even around now, but yeah, I've been taking it for years, and like, I think I'm alright. I'm not complaining just yet. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer. Andrew, will an increase in stomach acid increase what you get from your food, or just speed up how you digest the food, as long as you're eating a sufficient amount of food? What increasing the stomach acid will do is it will prevent any digestive distress, all right? So yes, it may help you get a little bit more out of your food, but the main thing is it'll break it down a lot better. It'll leave your intestines with a good bolus of food, which is easy to break down and get the digestive enzymes in and absorb without causing irritation or anything crappy like that. Okay. Andrew, doesn't Resurrect have sucralose which irritates the gut? Yes, it does, but it's such a small amount that it's really doesn't matter at all, okay? So I don't even worry about it. I take it, I'm completely anti-sucralose and I still take it. Sucralose in small amounts is going to be okay. It's just when you reach a certain threshold that bang, it has a massive, massive effect on you. And in most ways, Subito is the only one I've found which doesn't do this. In most ways, that's what it does. It sets me off immediately, so I dare say it's going to set you guys off. Alright? Dano, how are you, brother? Jay, Poey, lovely to have you on board. So that note, guys, look, I think I'm gonna call it a night because I'm absolutely cooked. It's 8:40, just about bedtime. But if you have any questions whatsoever, jump on the JCF Shred community. I'm pretty sure I put the link up. Did I put the link up? No, I didn't. So what I'm doing now is I'm just putting up a link and I'm gonna pin it so that, guys, if you want to join in and you want to become part of the crew, pretty much you can. Click on that link, go through to it. Oh, I typed in the wrong fucking thing, idiot. You can click on this link, go through, and you can ask up any questions you want. I got my team and I who are on there, plus a whole heap of epic lads and legends who are around, and we'll help you out and help you with your gains and whatnot. So yeah, on that note, au revoir. Enjoy your night. I hope this helped a lot, guys, and I hope it cleared up a lot of the bullshit. And if you need a hand, you know where to find me. Take it easy.